Well, good morning, Glue Troopers, and this morning I wanted to talk about painting canopies. You guys left some really great comments on last night's video, and you're absolutely right. And there is a lot wrong with the way canopies are made. They're probably the trickiest part, and as some of you pointed out, if you ever do put your model on a table at a show, that's usually the first thing the judges go to decide whether or not they're even going to evaluate it further. Now, I said I wasn't going to show any more pictures of the P38, but okay, one or two sneak peeks. I just can't resist. Besides which, I did manage to clean it up a little bit enough that it earned a place on the shelf. Although hindsight being 2020, I probably should have gone ahead and found a way to get those slightly feathered edges, because in a couple of spots the demarcation lines are just so crisp that, you know, even though there's just a little bit of feathering on those airplanes, the way the Army Air Corps painted them back then, and when it sits on the shelf you won't notice, but as soon as you start to get close, that becomes apparent that it was hard masked, not feathered. I'm going to have to get some of that stretchy gel or some more Play-Doh or something, and perhaps another video we'll do at some point is on how hard it is to get a consistent feather. And anyway, that aside, I still like the model, and I'm happy-ish with it. I could have done better. I'll try to do better on the other one, but as the subject of today's video, the mask is really, on the canopy was really the big thing. Now, the mask was properly applied. I didn't have any seepage or anything. The problem I ran into, partly putting a few scratches on it, trying to get it off. I tried using a toothpick, but it just couldn't seem to get enough purchase. So in some spots I had to use the tip of an X-Acto knife to get it off, and it scratched some of the canopy. So I need to work on that. And also, it was just that some of the paint flaked off, which I understand with an acrylic, but I was surprised that a lacquer would come off so easily, especially one that had a Mr. Surfacer primer coat under it. And maybe that was a problem. Maybe Mr. Surfacer doesn't stick to the acrylic that well. Not 100% sure. So I decided to do a little research. Of course, as we all know, the internet is rife with videos and articles on how to do canopies. But I found this one in particular at this website, and I have to admit I was pretty impressed with the work he did. So that's where some of these pictures came from. He's got some interesting techniques and stuff. I know some people like to tape the whole thing. Some people like to just tape the edges, because you can get with a real thin tape, you can get in a little closer, a little finer, than use the liquid, which I guess I've had trouble sometimes getting the liquid off also. It'll stick in spots. I think one of the main things, which is not my best virtue, is patience. If you're going to clear coat it, you really have to give it a long time to make sure it's 100% hardened. And of course, when you paint it, there's some debate, but if you wait until it's 100%, the paint's 100% hard, and you lift it and there's something that seeps through, you're going to have a harder time cleaning it up. But at the same time, if you wait until it's completely hardened before you lift anything, less chance of scratching, damaging the paint, which, as we all know, is more delicate when it's not 100% hardened. And there's a bunch of techniques. I actually wound up, since I decided to make a canopy open, because I do like the detailed interior on this airplane, and I wanted you to be able to see it. And it made a few little problems go away with painting that rather complex P38 canopy. So the hardest part actually was getting the canopy to the glue to dry and hold the canopy in place while it did, because it's just a little butt joint right there, nothing more. But I went ahead and hand painted that with acrylic, and then used just a toothpick to clean up any part. This is on the canopy, that's the top piece of the canopy, and then used a toothpick to clean up just a very little bit that kind of colored outside the lines. But we could talk about canopies all day. The one thing that is universally agreed upon is, no matter what technique you use a brand new X-Acto knife blade to do your trimming. And, well, canopies are one of the little bugaboos. I think if you really want to have a little fun at the expense of one of your friends who's a model builder, especially one who always works hard to do a great job, give him a B29 or a Heinkel 111 and a roll of Tamiya tape, and just go, "Merry Christmas, ha ha ha." Oh, my evil plan. So, guys, that's what I have for this morning. On a side note, I want to tell you guys I have to go back to work tomorrow, and I should be back by next weekend. We should have a live stream, and I just want to tell you how much fun it's been having these 11 days off, just to sit home, build models, make videos, do live streams. It's really been a blast, and I will be back next weekend. Maybe I'll get something out from the road, no promises. Well, that's what we have right now, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful Monday, if those two words can go together. Take care of yourselves, and as always, model on.